Hi there, this is Oliver Patrice Weder with a track breakdown video for Westwood Instruments. The guys have tasked me to create a psychological thriller score with their latest library, Novella Carbon. And it's really amazing. It's really fresh. It jumps out of the box, really nicely produced. And, without further ado, I'm going to play you the track. We're going to look at the chords and the sounds I've used. Right, I'm starting my track on C minor here. It goes through a bunch of keys. Not the most important, actually, the chord changes, because it's a very sound designy kind of track, but there was some thought behind those chords or behind the kind of sequences, so I'll explain a little bit. So I'm using their piano here to create the setting. There's a hidden piano and the normal upright piano, and the hidden piano just sounds really nicely. I've tuned it down an octave because I just wanted this kind of sound, and actually the basses. Sound really full and rich. But yeah, just to show you quickly, so it'd be like this. So you'd have this sound without the tunings. It's very lovely piano. I find there is something to it when you tune it down. Something slightly unnatural, and I mean the whole track is a little supernatural. There's some really long, uncomfortable reverbs there. There's some some sort of like weird harmonic stuff or kind of fakey voices going on back here, and I quite like that for it. So, but yeah, the piano plays this main motive coming back in the beginning and here in the middle, and then with the voices here. I love these voices. If we dive into it, so you have different kind of sort of improvisations, different intervals, different chants, and you have also different effects. So, and then if you, for example, turn on this effect, there's sort of like a stutter and a spreader in there, which is just, yeah, everything is really nicely produced. And you can see in my sort of like effects rack here, there's not much sort of like correction going on. There's just mainly sample delays or reverbs or maybe some pitching going on. Again, I really like how they produce their stuff. Then we have some strings here in the beginning as well, actually all over the track. So they're not really the main thing apart from later on here. I'll explain you. But yeah, for the strings, you have these little motifs as well that are quite handy to kind of dot all over your cue and your track. These kind of low pulses. And then I'll show you later on the sort of the spectral stuff. And what's also really lovely and what I'm using a lot are these Atmos here, just to set the tone of your cue. It's like sort of like just hitting one key and here we go. This one I'm using, then here this coil center thing. Again, I mean, you hold this down, it's already nicely mixed, so you have stuff going on really far back, things really close, and it creates a really lovely setting there. Then if we go to the next section here, some stuff's happening here. I'm using the Motherboard. I mean, these sounds are really, really lovely produced by the Unfinished. And you have so much choice in here. So there's 5 main categories and each of them has like a bunch of sounds. There's rhythms in there. You can turn on the ARP, etc. So, oh, this one I'm using a couple of times here. Wow, listen to this. I mean, this is just the internal reverb here set to horizon. It's the second longest. I'm using that quite a lot as well. It's quite a wet track overall, but I like how this is. So anyways, the Motherboard here. Combining 2 different sounds. Then what I was saying up here, we have the spectral strings. Again, I really like it. I'm using it back here. It's just sort of something is going on, you know, all the time and happens across the spectrum. It's really, really nice. It's quite dry and crisp recorded. So again, I have this usually with the reverb on here. How this sounds. Going into the next section here, changing the key, going up a tone or a step, I guess, borrowing it from the relative major scale if you're interested, so D minor. And then we're going from there on, we're going up the scale. So that's the moment where maybe someone is being chased or the person is going sort of crazy and it kind of goes towards the big bang. So it's D and then it goes F sharp diminished. Then we go G minor major 7, sort of like a very Bernard Herrmann chord. Keep going up, A7 flat 9, and I mean that's like sort of really classic dominant chord to then go back to D minor. So that's the chord sequence there. So again, it's a little bit, just rising as we come to this big bang moment. And Again, this is a 10-8 pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just to add a little bit of, again, weirdness and irregularities there. These vocal chatters, very weird and kind of uncomfortable stuff. Again, I was writing this cue at like 2 a.m. like sort of like looking back in the bath and like what's going on. And you look out the window and I had like 2 cats fighting there, like, wah! And so like within the track, and it was all slightly unsettling, but here we are. Then again, like this motherboard here and there, it's just literally holding a key and you know, off we go. Dozer. Love that. Really cool stuff. Just hear this. Then the guitar, they have some guitars in there, yep. With the piano. Even just that, it's so, yeah, it's good. It's got a good sound, this library. It's got a very specific sort of vibe to it. Here I'm doing a bit of call and response, so to speak, with the synth here. Atmos. Pizzicato strings. Add a bit more definition to that piano motif. Again, this one here. Arpeggiated motherboard. Very versatile. Really, just alone for the motherboard, it's really worth having this in your arsenal. Vesper strings here. Using this as a riser. So I have here a tremolo on there. Very simple. Automation here, automating the rate. Ultra long reverb here, using a black hole with a saturation on there. So it's, yeah, the reverb is saturated and quite extreme, which I quite like for this track. Then we have this machina here. These loops here are just out of this world. I mean, again, just, you know. And obviously you choose what kind of tempo your track sits in, so it fits accordingly. So here, this one. And actually this one sort of fits with my riff here. And it sort of distorts a little bit the reality of this riff, makes it slightly atonal and therefore uncomfortable. My next section here. It's really mental, but you don't really have that many elements, and it's just one of the most wonderful things here. It's just produced so nicely, and so you can really be creative right away. So obviously my main elements here are these. Literally just holding down the key. My favorite thing to do, holding down the key, and it writes itself. And then I'm tuning it down here, just to follow the key change or the the root note change. Obviously turning up here the distortion. And then again here the same thing, just, you know, raising it half a step. And behind all of this, I have just the Vesper strings to mark the chord changes. And here in the beginning, I have some decayed strings, again very useful. They've just included all the star stuff really that's useful for this kind of scoring. And then here these ones. Actually, I couldn't quite hear them, so I'm just going to raise the volume a little bit here. These ones I think I've showed you before. One more time. Yeah, really, really nice stuff. And then I'm bringing in here some Atmos, Razor, and then these Brahms here, like just absolutely massive, adding a little bit of extra saturation here. Wow, sounds like a massive ship coming to get you. And then the higher, or the high end of that sound, I've separated it, or like I played it in octave, and this is just the octave above. So I'm treating it slightly differently. And I'm doing a similar trick. So in the end, I'm sending it to this really ultra mega long reverb. And here, this was the MIDI information. I'm also pitching the tail of the sound sort of back down. So it falls quiet, basically. Not only kind of volume-wise, but also pitch-wise. It sort of falls down. Quite like that transition into the next part. And then what I did with this main element, so with this guy here, I added the tremolo here on this next section, just to make a little bit of space for these big Brahms down here. So if you have a listen. So it kind of just about fits. So the higher parts here, you can hear them a little bit on the sides as well, but definitely it makes space here for the middle and for this next element. So just kind of mix-wise and production-wise, I think that's quite nicely solved there. Then I have these electric drums, basically. Again, really long reverb, and these sort of 4 to the floor pulses here from the Machina. Again, here just hit whatever key really, and it sounds super cool and well produced. Fading the second one in to create 8th notes. And so we are in the next section. Fading out this loop here. Give space again to the main melody, the main motive. So if this section is like, okay, we're back to kind of the main character. It's like, okay, what's going on? Maybe it's not so bad. Maybe I'm cool, you know. Bring in these voices here. Slightly quieter, but maybe a little creepy. This is what we had. And then I'm adding like this pitch shifted version, so I'm pitch shifting it up, and when you pitch shift things up, it makes it sound usually quite unnatural, and definitely with voices, but that was my intention here, and you get this result here. Sort of helium voice-esque kind of thing. And And then I'm doing another key change here, and if I get the piano up, this is quite a common key change, I'd say, in this genre. So you go, it's quite cinematic, C minor to A flat minor. Right? So it's a new section, a new part of the scene, you know, like, okay, what's going on? Maybe there's hope, or what's going on there. And then we go to A flat 7 here. Actually sharp 5, so this would be the A flat 7. Would sound quite happy, but the sharp 5 makes it very uncomfortable. So it goes from something kind of, you know, not quite scary, but definitely not right either. And then we take it up half a step. And again, this sharp 5 kind of vibe. And then we're going back home to D minor, basically. And there we're going back into the motive, 10-8. So here we go again. Things aren't good. Danger is still here. And then in the end, you know, I'm going sort of up just to finish the chords here. Sort of like, I don't know, through wonders, you know, so sort of like mystical. Could be good, but then. And then you'd imagine going back to D minor, but I'm sort of letting the listener hang with that C sharp diminished there. With the whole arrangement, this last section with just the piano, it sounds sort of like happy, but with the whole arrangement, you'll see it sort of gets you where it needs to. But anyway, so this slightly hopeful section here, I'm creating this with the strings, because the string section here is not to forget, it's quite strong. You have everything you need, so you have high legato strings, low legato strings, you have these spectral sounds. And if we listen here, legato strings, I'm layering the high legato strings with this Hive synth here, which we haven't talked about yet. So this is a whole other ballpark here. I mean, you should go and watch the walkthrough. Usually when I write stuff or when I get a new product, I go through all of the patches and save or set up a template with my favorite sounds. And I mean, it took me half a day for all of this because, you know, the combinations here are just sort of countless and infinite. You can choose, you know, the swarm amount, the spread, the glides, no glides, and then, you know, we're only just hitting the effects page, and that's just one patch. So this library is definitely massive. Very, very spooky kind of sound. And so yeah, I layered it with the strings. It sounds like this. Again, sort of like calm moment, but definitely something's not right. Very sparse, bit of atmos here. Another atmos. And I hear this kind of knocking. So this one down here sounds a bit like someone's moving. Someone's moving furniture upstairs. Quite spooky. And then yeah, we're back into the kind of the chase thing, where things definitely aren't great. And we're back into this 10-8 piano motif here. Oh, that's the pizzicato here. Guitars. Again, we've barely scratched the surface of this library. You have different effects for each of those, you know, or for the whole patch. And then, you know, you have all sorts of different rhythms and longs and pitched stuff for the guitar. And here I think I have, oh, it's an electric bass as well you have. So yeah, again, this library is endlessly big. So that's sort of the textural stuff, if you will. And if we turn on here our machines basically and the rhythms, it gets quite a bit more intense. So here. It's the end, and I bring in this big Bram here. Endless reverb right there at the end. And again, so the vocals here, I'm not sure I've addressed this here before, but it sort of goes from right to left as if it goes through your head or through your living room or wherever, you know. It's kind of really unsettling here. And as you can hear, I'm doing some pitch stuff. So my second send here, bus number 3, goes to this bus, which is this track. And I'm pitch shifting the reverb, just the reverb, down and back up to kind of help marking the key change. And it's also something a little unsettling about it. I'm not doing that right here in the ends because we have too many chord changes. But here in the first instance, it has quite a good effect. And you can hear it going up, and then you have the key change. So that's definitely worth mentioning. Again, I'm not doing a lot of kind of production on it, a little bit of low pass filters, some tremolos here and there. And if we go into the mix, then you can see that I've grouped all my different sections of the library and sent them to a different bus. So all my strings, the synths, the vocals, and I have them back here. And when I mix, I sort of tame the loudest section. So definitely percussion here needed a bit of compression, which I'm using the Cenozoics compressor here, Atmos and piano as well. The others kind of sit sort of nicely within the mix. And then, you know, I balance it. I do a final mix and a bit of a master. So I have wide mastering here. Then I usually take away a little bit of the low ends off the side so the mix doesn't get too heavy and muddy, and then take away a little bit of the 3K mark here. That's sometimes where it gets a little intense and frequencies build up. Obviously use your ears, and then a couple of limiters here to get up to the right level. Okay. Yeah, thanks so much for staying with me. Get your hands on the library if you can. If you have any questions for me or the Westwood team, we'll be getting back to you if you leave us comments in the comment section. Okay, thank you so much and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.